We're going to just jump right into this. Warning, there'll be cussing in this. I'm going to share a frustration that probably a lot of people that are creators of any type, artists, musicians, anything. And I don't know, I made a short video recently. I don't know why today I just decided to think about everything I've done in the creative aspect of life versus just a job, other than, I had my own business for 27 years. Which was just business, but I've been pursuing art in many different forms. I taught myself how to play flamenco guitar, which I stopped doing. That's my fault, but I never planned on being a musician. I just loved the sound of it, and I wanted to see if I could teach myself how to do it. And then I studied dreams. I had a phenomenal thing happen in 2009, and I'd get up and sketch my dreams, and then I'd put them out there, and, people thought I was on acid or something, just studying dreams. They're not beautiful flowers all the time. And I did connect with somebody who sponsored me financially with a little bit of money to paint. 7 years I painted over 230 different paintings. Did that. YouTube, I've been a content creator for 17 years. I've had 7 channels. Thousands of videos. My editing and everything, content has gotten better and better and better. And I wrote 2 books. I mean, I didn't put my heart into them. I wanted to, see if I knew how to publish and stuff like that, and publish, self-publish, and so I put them out there, and they sold, a few. But my whole mission was to do what I enjoy to do and make money at it. And I have failed in all of my creative endeavors, every one of them. Yes, I've been very fortunate that I came across a lot of money, but it's still, I'm still missing what I want to put out there in the world. I'd be perfectly happy to make a middle income creating, and there's a lot of artists that say the same thing. And I know what my problem is all along. I just don't follow rules, and to me that's what an artist is supposed to do. If it isn't the art community, as far as painting, it's so competitive. It's so much bullshit. It's who you know, and you see these stupid modern arts that's got a black line on a canvas, and it's just it's all about money. Everything's it's so frustrating, and I'm frustrated for artists. I got a friend of mine, Rodney Norman. He's been a comedian, stand-up comedian for years, and he put out these little short videos, 60-second. He plays this Leonard guy who's just like, hey, how's it going? And he adds real positive simplicity to life, a lot of psychology, but simple. And he went viral a few years, but people don't, and he's got it on YouTube. They don't see his stand-up show. And it's funny. I've been to 3 of them. He's hilarious. He should be doing much better than he is because he doesn't cuss and say things like, hey, motherfucker, you cunt, this bitch was slobbing on my knob, and, hey, N-word, and, and just all this crap. He does it clean. That's the way he does it. I mean, it's crazy. And he starves as an artist, and it bothers me. And I think about, when Pier 1, I don't even know if Pier 1 still exists. Pier 1 Imports, maybe they do somewhere. But you'd walk into that store, and there would be this hand-carved, wooden-carved table, a coffee table that somebody spent months hand-carving it. And you'd pay, maybe $100 for it. And how much did that artist in Thailand get for it? $5? Who knows? And it's really frustrating. And I think you could see that it wasn't about having a lot of money. Yeah, I had a lot of money. It's going away too, because I've been experimenting and trying things and sharing things and writing things and painting things. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people and friends that I know that enjoy my work, but this has not created a livelihood for me whatsoever. And that's pretty much, I think, what all creative people want, is to make a living doing that. And I'm ranting about something that artists and creative people have been ranting about for thousands and billions and gazillions of years, you know, and I'm aware of that. But I want to put this out there because I'm getting burned out. It's 17 years of me creating just this YouTube stuff, thousands of videos, thousands of hours. And I've watched a few people make it, and they're making a really good income doing it. And they're brown nosers, they're suckers, they've sold their soul. I watched their personality go from, you know, just trying it out and humbled to now all corporate and brown nose, and then they all turn to drugs and alcohol and chasing Jiner, you know, and they still feel empty. You know, they're making money at it. It's like, why does everything have to be that way? I don't think it needs to be. And the fellow people, you know, unless you do something completely extreme, like I can paint the sickest painting relevant to our times. I mean, just disgusting, you know, politicians eating babies and crapping out in somebody's mouth and spooning it in and you know, just this disgusting painting of how disgusting the elites are, you know, that we're being told. And the more disgusting it is and the more it offends the elite, the more it's putting me at risk, and therefore it becomes a painting worth something, and I've just never been able to sell my soul that way. Why doesn't my cigarette stay lit? I'm frustrated. I'm just being honest with you. I don't get very emotional ever, you know, and it's just, today I've just decided to sit here and think about all this stuff I've created, you know. The paintings I was doing about, you know, about the dreams, I stopped in 2017, and people that were looking at them, you know, didn't know how to take them. And now I hear from even the people that didn't really like my paintings saying, you know, it's interesting, I'm seeing all over the internet now your type of painting. And it's like, you know, it's funny because you know, I've been told by the art community, you know, your type of painting, it isn't something you hang on a wall. I know that. It's thought evoking. It's supposed to make you think. And I do know that some of the crazy paintings I've done will age well, like wine, like fine wine. But I don't want to be a Van Gogh, you know? He didn't make it until after he died. And his brother died, and his sister-in-law is the one that made it happen, you know, and people laughed at it, mocked at it, and thought it was stupid and didn't make sense. And so, you know, I've been told, you're just ahead of your time. And I'm like, oh, God, you know, I don't even care. I'm not going to look at things that way. It's frustrating. And now I'm going to get sloppier with the YouTube thing. I just don't give a shit anymore. I really don't. I've put enough time into this, you know, it's just, and I hear all this advice, and I check the YouTube rules and regulations, and they change it. I've had YouTube videos blocked that I've said maybe a small percentage of what other YouTubers are like, fucking bitch, whore, you know, cussing, and you know, causing uprise and you know, or what about the terrorists that have YouTube channels that somehow, you know, it's like I can never ever satisfy who's ever in charge, ever. It's so frustrating. I don't get along with them in the art community at all. You know, it's just amazing, and I've met a few of them, and they're so pretentious, and you know, you have to talk. Hello, how are you? Good. I'm not a good politician. Isn't that what an artist is, a creative person? I just don't go with the flow. I don't play the game. And there's supposed to be a point, I keep thinking, in life where when you do that, when you're trying to be your authentic self and you're not complying to the rules to succeed, that one day you can actually say a big fuck you and your old paradigm of how things should be. It's frustrating. I'm frustrated for my friend Rodney, you know, and all I can do is like try to tell him shit he already knows, you know. And he's funny as hell, but it's not supporting his lifestyle, his livelihood. It's not doing it. I've watched more people with talent just fade away. I'm the one who preaches about laws of attraction, the matrix, Again, I'm so grateful for this big amount of money I got back in 2019, and bought the properties and the cars and then sold them. And I made no profit on anything. The cars, I made no profit. I lost money. I basically bought a car. I put thousands of dollars into it. This is no joke. And just beautify it because I enjoy making things look good. I love taking care of stuff. And then the market dictates, Kelley Blue Book, Carfax, everything, it all dictates what it should sell for. And you can't put in consideration that, you just added new $2,000 tires on it. It doesn't matter, this whole thing dictates, there's so many cars. God, the Tahoe I had, or the Suburban, I should have got exactly what I put into it, but I lost on that $5,000 on the G-Wagon. I paid something like 50 grand for it. Over the next month, I put 25 grand into it, $75,000. And I try to say to people, it's worth $75,000. Well, the market shows that car that year, those miles, is worth 50. I'm like, yeah, it's worth 50 because they're going to buy it at the exact miles where I'm at, whereas that's the breakdown period. That's where you're going to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to get it ready for the next 100,000 miles. I mean, these factors don't go into it. So I lose money and I make somebody's day, and it's like, here, I bought this car 2 months ago and I just put $2,000-$3,000 in to replace the headlights instead of cleaning them, to get the discoloring off of it. I just put new headlights in, and fixed switches and detailed the hell out of it, the motor. Why do people not detail their engine? It's just crazy. It's like, you want to sell a vehicle. Well, it tells me what your underwear look like as far as I'm concerned. And that's the OCD in me. It's disgusting, but they could have a clean car on the outside and the inside. I open the hood. I'm like, ooh, your inside's rotten. And then I clean them and fix things. And it's like, so yeah, I've had all this money, but I've had no profit, none. IRS can come knock at my door and say, what happened to that $1 million? Where did it go? Well, I didn't make any money from it. I just lived off it and bought shit and lost money. Keep trying to pursue this. I keep trying to pursue that. And, the people are like, oh, God, that's cool. Yeah, that's neat. All right, that bores me. Next. Oh, yeah, that's cool. And it's like, it's so stagnant and stale. And, and I try to hang on to the 80s concept, which offends even Gen Xers. They're like, no, those weren't great times. You can't say the stuff you say today and that we used to be able to say back then. I'm like, well, then we've de-evolved. Are you kidding me? We can't joke and play and kid that way? No, it's just, I made a short video. One guy commented on just a short video about the reason why people aren't as happy as they could be is they stopped asking for what they want. And some Gen X guy my age, it sounds like, or baby, I don't know. It's like, no, because we didn't say no to our kids enough, they're all getting fat, stupid behind computers and showing their bodies on the internet. I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. Shut up. Oh my God. Stay out of everybody's business. If you don't have a sense of humor, take your little fuddy-duddy attitude and go somewhere else. It's amazing. I watch millennials. I swear to God, I believe in reincarnation. I did business with World War II veterans, the greatest generation ever, and they were old school, not all of them, but they weren't very fun, and they just, were stuffy and real proper and stuff like that. It's hard to explain, but millennials, I watch them, they act like my grandparents did. Since they were kids, they have this like weird, and it's evolution, I'm not picking it. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, but everybody's got to watch what they say so much because we got these damn things going on in CCTV TVs and everybody's in everybody's business, like monkeys picking bugs off of each other, which would be better than It's a bad analogy. So I'm frustrated. And I'm going to make this video. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to throw it up there. It's not going to matter. I'm not in the right algorithm, and I'm aware of, it's hard to get the first 1,000. I've been through it already. I had a channel with 5,000 views, subscribers. It grew real fast. I know. But every time I start doing what they say, now they've changed all the rules. Everything's changed, and I don't control that platform. It's just everything. And so what keeps me going, what has kept me going, is I've enjoyed it. Shame on me for wanting to make a living doing what I enjoy, And I'm not saying I'm giving up, but I'm getting pretty close. I'm getting pretty burned out on this whole YouTube thing, big time. It's just, it's frustrating. I got a niece, that for 3.5 years she lived out of her FJ, which is not an easy vehicle to live in. Toyota FJ, whatever. There's like no headroom, and she's not this short, small, tight, petite person, and she just she loves being out in nature, and she literally quit her job and took a chance and got her channel going, and I think she made it to like 5,000 subscribers over 3.5 years, and she just didn't have the, the looks and flaunting her looks as a lot of female van lifers and overlanders do. I mean, it's just funny. I'll scroll through it. I'll say, oh my God, this person has 500,000 subscribers. How many videos has she made? 20? Wow. So, and I'm just saying, either you got it or you don't. I have to come to the realization I don't have that something, it's just not there. And I'm okay with that. It's not, I'm not ashamed of it. I don't have that star, in fact, I think a lot of people that are celebrities are very young souls, they're really, I've met quite a few of them, and their energy is really wacko, They can't sit and be a nobody. Every move they make is educated in how they pose and how they do everything, and I just can't do that, So I guess I don't want it bad enough, do I? It's not the money I want. I couldn't. I sit here and say I could play the game and just do the whole, like some of my YouTube friends that have made it big, I can just do it all. Hey, hi, yeah, and this, it's not even who they are in real life. And when I meet them in real life, they're like, yeah, it's like being a content creator, especially if you're making it, it's like a church, it's like a cult. It's like Amway, people get into Amway. That's something I got involved with when I was a teenager. You live and breathe it. And you can't have a conversation with anybody else for any length of time that's not doing the same thing you're doing. And I just, my what's the word I'm looking for? My thing I love to do is be free, organic, spontaneous. And that's my religion, I guess. That's my thing, is to not be consistently at anything. And that's, I'm trying to be consistent with not being consistent. Nobody gets it, One minute I have a G-Wagon, the next minute I sell that, and then I buy a motorcycle, the latest and greatest, the T7, and that's not doing it for me. I'm not going to venture motorcycle anymore. Then I buy the Ibex back here and find out that I just needed to change a bike, and and one thing leads to another, and now we're down to the RV with the toy hauler in the back, and I just bought this 2000 Tracker. This little, I'm happy with it. It's reliable. It's simple. It's not this outrageous thing, like some of the cars I've had. Not all, and it's. And I'm just waking up today going, what are you doing? 17 years of creating. It took me, 7 years to teach myself how to play flamenco by watching YouTube. That stuff's not easy to play, and I'm not that good, but I'm good enough that one night I was playing outside, and there's this tavern next to the art studio I had, and I'd walk down there on the weekends, and we'd sit around and talk with 9 fire pits, and And I would just play in the background, and people loved it, you know, and they would talk over it. And then one day I just kind of really got into it. I was really expressing and hitting the chords softer and harder, and I wasn't paying attention to them, practicing. And I got real quiet, and I looked up, and there's like 3 couples dancing. I'm like, and I got teary-eyed. I was like, oh my, that's what it feels like to be a musician, you know. And it was so, it was a giving. It was wonderful. Maybe they were drunk and it sounded really good. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I got to see that, and I stopped playing flamenco guitar after that. It was like good enough. You know, and I've forgotten a lot. I mean, it's just, you know, there's like some things I could still do. And it's funny when I play with people that play guitar, and I've never talked about that I play guitar. And I'm, well, let me try your guitar, and then I'll do my stuff. And they're like, holy shit, where did that come from? You know? And so I've been called a Renaissance man. There's some truth to that. I've traveled my whole life all over the place. I've lived all over this country. I've lived in multiple big cities, multiple small towns. I moved back to Bend, Oregon like 18 times. Always run back to Bend. Now it's not even Bend, Oregon anymore. It's a mini downtown San Francisco. You know, it's just not the same. You know, it's not what I was raised in. So I've been homeless. I've been broke. You know, I started a business from nothing and made millions by the age of 30. I've had the exotic cars. I've had the pieces of crap. And, you know, it's funny. I had more fun in my pieces of crap. That Fiat Strada I had. The car had me laughing because, you know, I remember I was coming up to a stoplight, and I went to hit the brake, and the brakes are gone, you know. So I go through the light, and I pull the e-brake, and everybody can hear this, and the car slid sideways, and I'm like, here's a driveway into the gas station. I was like, oh, okay. So I let off the brake and straightened into the garage, and I'm like, I guess I need brakes, you know. It was, you know, and I laugh about stuff like that. I've had more fun with pieces of crap than my first exotic car. It was a 930 Gambala slope nose Porsche. That was an exotic car. It wasn't a normal Porsche. They only had like 210 of them, and 640 horse twin KK turbos, had the big fin on the back. You know, it looked like something you would see on the racetrack, like a DP 935. You know, and all the sounds and everything, and what did I experience with that? Well, I was 30 years old, wearing my Armani suit, you know, and I looked like a rich boy. I was self-made though. Wasn't no silver spoon in my mouth. And what did I get? I got flipped off. I got people yelling out the window, "Faggot!" You know, people cutting you off. One night I was meeting friends in Bend, Oregon, at this lounge, and they didn't allow me to valet park it in the front, and I haven't seen these friends in a long time. I'm like, yeah, guys, I got to park I'll pay you $100 to let me park it up front here. It's out of the way of everybody. No, we can't. It's policy. I'm like, fuck policy. Oh my God. With some scenarios. Well, you think you're privileged, you're going to pay us $100 to park your car there? I'm like, that's not the point. Somebody's going to fuck with it. Sure enough. They not only keyed, we're talking indented down the side of the car. They did these big circles on the hood. I'm talking denting the metal. You know, and I went back to them. I said, you want to see what happened to my car? You just want to pay for this? And they're like, well, it's not our fault, you know. Hi, how you doing, everybody? Just venting a little bit. People seem to like emotion, so let's do that. And I'm feeling it today. Frustrated. I'm frustrated for creative people that have more talent than the uncreative ones. Oh my God, I'm listening to myself right now. It's just awful. It's just frustrating, you know? 24 minutes, maybe I should just stop right here. I think I will. I'm getting really tired of putting this much time and energy into this stuff. You know, I just look back at some of my videos I did a few months ago, and I like them. You know, a lot of paintings I did, I didn't like them. You know, 70% of them I didn't like them, and it's like I didn't think of them, I dreamt of them. I steady dreams. Something phenomenal came out of that. I coined the word corism. If you Google corism, Coreism, you're going to see my name on it and what the whole study was about. Now that's in Google. And then I watch people on TED Talk and other, credible people, making YouTube videos about exactly what I discovered. And they're not, and for some reason, life, God, whatever, has not paid me for this stuff. I've gotten my money out of purely working my ass off, starting my business with nothing, making it something, to losing that, to losing everything 3 different times in my life. Every time I'd brush myself off, get up, do it again, because that's what men do. After the 3rd time, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not doing anything dumb. I'm investing. My credit's impeccable. I'm doing what everybody else does, but I'm just a sequence of events. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm supposed to go the magical way, the artist way, since I was a kid. It's like I won awards when I was like in 2nd grade against high school kids, so I had relatives, even my enemies, compliment me. I keep saying, you don't know. It's, and then I do it, and it's embarrassing, believe it or not. It's it's like standing naked when you paint the way I do, not a scenery. Realism, it's like cameras can do better. And most people paint a picture off of a photo, and that's great. That anybody can learn how to do that. Anybody can learn realism. They got all these techniques and strategies, and see-through paper and graphs, and put an image, light up an edge and trace the lines. There's all these things you can do, but to take something out of your mind that you don't know where it came from, a dream that had an impact on you. If you know my whole story and what made me want to study dreams, it's phenomenal enough, and to where it's on Google now. I didn't put that up there, and I put my little stuff out, a little marketing stuff out there, like Greg Braden. I got a hold of his office and talked to his agent, and I said, hey, why don't you Google corism? That's who I am. This is right up his alley. And she's like, oh, his schedule's so busy. He's on to different things now. And I'm like, yeah, he's not doing that great anymore, and so the timing is always off. But I have been fortunate, like a clump of money lands on my lap. And then when I get that, I get ridiculed for that. We're always ridiculing each other, and I'm always the encourager. I'm the one that tells people to quit your job and go do what you love to do. Take a chance, go live. And I've been mad at people, like giving them words of encouragement coming across angrily, and they're, stop talking to me that way. I'm like, no, I'm not telling you to do what your conservative, boring fucking parents have been telling you. This, I keep wanting to say steampunk generation, pretty much is. The Industrial Revolution's over. The go get a job, go to college, get married, have 2 dogs in the house, white picket fence, blah, 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 blah. That works for some people, but not everybody. It just does. It's the way it's just the way it is. And I actually admire people like that. I'm like, my life didn't work out that way. I don't think the same way. And I've taken chance after chance and packed up and moved to Mexico, and had an agreement with partners there. And I got there, long behold, they didn't stick to their end of the deal. I had a whole company we started called Dreams to Reality, and with this big, heavy roller. Hey, dear. They're back. In Beverly Hills, Jet Mora, multi-millionaire, back to movies like Driving Miss Daisy, and he wanted to do seminars. Well, I knew how to set up a seminar business, and we formed this company in Beverly Hills, and I do the first meeting to go sell tickets to this thing, and it was 100%. I come back to the office, and they're like, oh my God, this is going to work. And then some company called Rexall came in, and in one day, convinced the guy with the money that he wants to do that instead, like overnight. And it's like, and I can hear everybody, but everybody's so complicated. Can I just be frustrated? Well, if you would have done, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut up. What are you doing? Just sitting there narrating everybody? Guilty. done it too. So, and you know, I've invested my money on this, really, and everybody's waiting to see the reward for it. Well, I've already been rewarded. I had a lot of money come to me out through Kara and her amazing way of doing things in life. I've never had anybody that amazing and generous in my life. It's unbelievable. And, you know, if her and I can get on the same page and not fight, we were dynamos together. You know, absolutely wonderful to be around somebody that saw the big picture and was committed to it. Had more faith than 10 states with churches. I don't see it in people that are religious. You know, I really don't. They don't really back up what they say because everybody does the same thing. They fall back in the routine. You got to pay your bills and you know, the money's running down now. I don't have enough to retire now. And I'm excited about that. Isn't that weird? I'm not afraid of it. It doesn't frighten me, you know? It's just amazing in this years of putting stuff out there in the creative platform. I just don't fit in. It's funny. I don't fit in the creative world. That's what it's like. You know, I've talked to other content creators and that are successful and there's a death in them. It's not authentic anymore. It's a routine. It's a job, like everything. Like movie stars are never happy being movie stars. They want to be directors next, and they want to write, and that's the nature of a human being. I've got very dear friends of mine that believe in my art that are, you know, like, why don't you paint? You know, I'd love to have one of your paintings and things like that. I'm like, well, it's not something, you know, tell me what to paint. I'm going to paint it. It doesn't work that way with me. It's not going to look the way you think. I can't do that. I painted murals. I was commissioned to paint a mural in a bedroom, a big jungle scene, and I didn't want to do it. But she liked my art and really wanted my art, and I jacked the price way up. I'm like, you can hire somebody for $500 to paint what you want on your kid's wall. I won't do it for less than $3,500, not including supplies, and I'm going to come and go as I want. I mean, I try to make it so unattractive. I might be there at 1 o'clock in the morning. I might not show up for 2 weeks. Fine. Here's the check. I'm like, oh, geez. And that was wonderful, but I hated it. Absolutely hated it. It's not what I like to do. Could I make it as a painter that way? No, I couldn't, because it just hurts my body, if that makes sense to you. Trying to be authentic, trying to listen to that, you know. The 2 books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever. I threw these books together from stuff I've written over the years, just cool, weird stuff, just to see how to self-publish, you know, how to make the book on Amazon and make the cover and the chapters and everything, and then print it up and then sell it, you know. And I just did that to learn how to do it. I think I sold like 400, right around 400, but you know, and then I started working in another book called Chorism, explaining what that is. But it's like my art. My friends like, get back in art. I was like, you know what? I can't make it happen. There's a real attitude like, I spent 7 years doing it. What did it get me? Nothing. I even had a connection with a very big artist in Oregon. I mean, a lot of his stuff was Picasso stuff, you know, like out in the middle of nowhere, McMinnville, Oregon. And he had connections with the Picasso family, the Salvador Dali. I mean, this type of stuff. He was a big artist himself, and we sat and talked, and I showed him one of my pieces, and he gave me no response. He just kept talking about art, and he wanted me to see his art studio. So I came in there, and we sat and talked about art, and never said anything about my piece at all. And so I had to read between the lines where he saw me as an artist. He wouldn't say that, you know, so I knew that he wanted to spend time with me and talk about art and show me his art studio. And I felt this kinship, like a fellow artist. Never heard anything, never. Ego? I don't know what it is. Huh, dear? What are you guys doing? Cutting the yard? Yeah, they're getting more comfortable with me. 34 minutes. I don't know if this is a side I've ever showed here, but 17 years of making YouTube videos. I can't even remember the name of all my channels. Nature Report by Motorcycle. That one's still up. I couldn't get rid of that one. That's when I left. I had $240 left to my name just before the big money came, and packed up my motorcycle, and I was 52 years old. I'm like, I have no kids, no family. I'm going to go out there and I'm a door knocker. I'm not afraid of prospects. So if I need to make more money, which obviously I would have, I'll be out in a small town and say, hey, I'm got a YouTube channel and I'm riding motorcycles across the world. I'm earning money as I go. You know, paint a fence, help around for a couple of days. That's how I make my living. And put you on my channel if you want to be on it. And then I ran across all this money. I didn't have to do that. And then I got to experience pissing away a fortune. You know, because I failed I lost everything 3 times before. And I said this in a previous video. I was like, okay, I got a chunk of money this time. I just came out of the ether, and I'm going to lose it on my terms. I'm going to experience it. Because I know you'll get to the point where buying shit becomes fucking boring. And I reached that point. And so I went through 42 cars in the last 7 years. Some of them were cool. Some of them were expensive. Some of them weren't. They were just cars that I enjoyed. Especially old Mercedes, you know. And the Puch. You don't know what that is, but... You know, and then traveled and just made spontaneous, you know, when I was on the road not too long ago before this trip, you know, I would stay the night in Death Valley in this dump, literally a dump, but it was clean and it had something magical about it. And then I would stay in a resort outside of Vegas for, you know, $1,500 a night, you know, and yeah, that was nice. You have the Car Valet parked and the G-Wagon next to Lamborghinis, and, you know, so I got to feel that life, and then, you know, and having the freedom. My thought is always, you know, to have enough money to be poor if you want to. That's what Picasso said. There's nothing more wonderful than living poor and having a lot of money, you know. And I knew that once you get over the flash and all that stuff, and you just buy stuff, and it's just, unless you're hanging out with a club of people like the Prevost community, the Prevost high-end R&B business, it's a club. It's like a car show. You know, and they go to the same places and they see each other and they drink and have a good time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. They're playing with $1 million+ RVs, and then they're matching cars and their motorcycles, and they park in these beautiful resorts, and they sit in their chairs and they sip wine and have a great time doing that. And people drive by and look at each other's latest and greatest. And it's like sitting in front of their 1950s Chevy that's all dialed up at a car show. It's the same thing. And that's cool. I love it because I love vehicles too, you know. But I couldn't get along with most of those people. Some of them are wonderful, you know. They're just, it's just, I don't get along with pretentious people that have to be politically correct all the time. They fucking bore me. It's bullshit, stuffy. Because I know most of them, and I'm in the people business all my life, I know behind closed doors they're not that way. They're secrets. You know, I trust people that cuss. I do. And you know, I just made a video talking about how tacky it is getting today, you know, cussing and stuff like that. You can tell when somebody's being authentic and just talking. Yeah, I hope you can sense it in me right now. You know, this isn't going to get me anywhere. It's like, it's not. I already know it. I've got a few people I love you who have been friends of mine now. We talk on the phone. People that have followed my other channels, love you. I know some of you personally very well now because of Prevost Life. That was the best thing out of the videos. I've made some really good friends, and that's hard to say. You know, that I've been getting a kick out of my journey and laughing at my expense. Like, they wouldn't do this. No way. And so I'm the muse, but I don't have a wife and I don't have kids and stuff they have to pay attention to, you know? So I might as well be the one to take the chance, the financial chance. You're just getting closer and closer, aren't you? Oh, look at you flopping your ears. Yeah, not so nervous. Cool, you can hang out. Love deer. They taste great. I just thought I'd throw that in. See the bug spray here? Yeah, this stuff doesn't work like crap. I've got some special stuff coming. This time of the year, the spiders are phenomenal here in this area. It's unbelievable. And I don't like them. Okay. Thanks for watching. I didn't do this to hear advice. You're welcome to give it. I've been hearing it my whole life. You know, we think that just because we talk this way that I'm looking for help and advice. You know, I mean, I should correct myself. I am. You know, I've got a couple of good friends that make good decisions in their life, and they're boldly honest like me. They'll fucking say it. You know, and that's what I like. You know, and I've got 2 friends right now that would like to see me get back into my art, and that's hard for me to do. It's a stubbornness. Like, why? People don't get it. Oh, that's fascinating. There's a lot of fascinating things going on today, you know? A lot of interesting art. There's an amazing amount of just new discoveries, you know? And there's a lot of bullshit out there, too. That is what we call monkey mind. It's out, and now yeah.